Well, now I fixed the video and nobody's here. Oh, somebody joined. Sorry, guys. I messed up my video first live, so I had to redo it. Gotta wait for some more people to join in. Oh, somebody else popped up. Hello, whoever you are. Hi. uh, see, I don't know how to work this stuff. Hi, Shirley. You figure after I've done it twice, I would have figured out how to work this, but I still don't know what I'm doing. Hi, Wallace. Hi, Juan. Hi, Lynn. Hi, everyone. Wait for a few more people to show up. Yeah, I'm just hanging out here on a Friday night and hoping that not hoping that not a whole bunch of people are out partying and want to join me tonight. Hello, Barbara from Georgia. Hi, Daddy. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Dee Dee. Alrighty, so what time is it? It's about 5 after. Hi, Mark. Hi, Dr. Bud. Hi, Marie David. Yeah, Mark, I posted a couple days ago on my community section that I was going to be going live, but I know not a lot of people noticed those community posts, but was hoping that anybody who didn't notice community posts had at least notifications set so that way they get the ding dong notification that I was going live. Alrighty, so I guess we can get started. If anybody has anything they want to ask, feel free to start asking some questions and I will answer them as best as I can. Okay, how am I doing now? I am doing okay. I'm missing the trail a lot. That's probably the hardest part of this right now. I knew I would. Um, I figured, I said, give me about a week off trail and I'm going to be wishing I was back on. And I think it was right about that too. It was about a week. And every day gets a little harder for me. Oh, hi, Madison. Hi, Jacob. My niece and nephew are watching. How badly do I miss the soak blazing in the morning? Oh, man. You know me. I love my soap blazing. I gotta say that's probably the only thing I don't miss about the trail. Because if I could get up later, it wouldn't be a problem because then other people would be out before me and then I wouldn't have to soap blaze. Uh, oh, Shirley, you lost your list of questions. Hey, Ron. Aw, thank you, Linda. Uh, so what pad did I use and how did I like it? I used the Thermarest X Lights women's version, and it's louder than sleeping on a bag of potato chips. Everybody, whenever I'd be in the shelters, they were like, "Oh man, she's in the shelters again," because it sounded like thunder. I mean, actual thunder. Um, so noise level, I finally got used to it and was able to fall asleep with it. So it really wasn't a big deal. Comfortable. It was like so. I like the wider pads, but for weight savings, I went with the normal size one. I did have an issue with the first one that I started out with. It was leaking from the very beginning. Then I eventually switched out to another one, which held up all the way into New Hampshire, and then I lost my foam sleeping pad somewhere in the whites. Um, and I had always put that underneath the inflatable, and when I lost the foam one, the inflatable developed a hole or something. When I got home, though, I did send both of them off to Cascade Designs, which is the company that Thermarest owns Thermarest. And I sent them in to see if they could find the holes, because when I got home, I looked for holes in both, and I couldn't find holes in either one of them. Make the story short, they lost one of my sleeping pads And the other sleeping pad, apparently the material was defective. So there were no holes, but the air was leaking out of the material directly. So they sent me two brand new pads. So, would I recommend them? Well, I had two not so great pads, but their customer service is A plus. Could I tell a difference after I started taking the vitamins? No. No, I couldn't tell any difference at all. I was hoping I would feel a difference, but I was still very tired, and I think I was just going to be exhausted because I think I started taking them in, yeah, it was Massachusetts, because I think it was Cheshire I picked them up in. And I think at that point, you're just tired all the time and, doing big miles and that. So, um, I didn't notice a difference, but I still took them every single day. So, just in case it was helping me in one way or another, I didn't know. Am I comfortable hiking alone? That is all I ever do. um, I've been hiking alone for a really long time, so I've never felt anything but comfortable. And I feel more comfortable being by myself in the woods than I do feel going to the grocery store at home. Hike with me. Oh, you just found me and watched me finish. Well, thank you for watching my finished video. And if you're interested in wanting to see my journey, you can feel free and go back and watch them all. I think I took the ads off all my videos, so ad free now. uh, Surely, yeah. Hoping to scare away the bears. I know, right? If any bear is creeping around your tent, just roll over and they'll go running away. How old am I? How old do I look? I'm 37 years old. Um, Generally, what time did I get up, start hiking, and about how many hours did I hike a day? I'm bad at math, but I generally was up in the morning between 4 and 5 a.m. and I would get on trail typically between 5 and 6, but usually between 5 and 5:30. I was on trail. Um, and then earlier on, I would be done with my day, usually around 3:30, 4 o'clock at the latest. And then as I got further north, I was hiking longer just because the terrain was harder. So I think toward the end, I wasn't done hiking till anytime between like 5 and 7 o'clock. So I would be on trail anytime between 5 a.m. and 5:30, and like I said, hike between 5 and 7 at night. Um, my lunch breaks were on average like 20 to 30 minutes long, and then I would take a few breaks here and there. If I saw a nice view, I might sit down for about 15 minutes or so. So I spent a lot of hours hiking. Okay. Wallace says, oh, sorry, I got a drink. He's a long distance hiker. He's prepping for the AT next year. Awesome. Your first question, nutrition, secrets of staying healthy and strong. Oh my gosh. So don't follow my diet if you want healthy. um, I ate a lot of junk on trail, but my biggest issue that I didn't see any other hikers with this issue, I got braces. So there were a lot of different foods that I can't eat or should not eat, and I did my best to stay away from the majority of those foods, but even doing that, I still had two wires pop out and cause me a bunch of hassle on trail. So um, I had to eat a lot of soft foods, and unfortunately, a lot of those soft foods that are shelf stable that I could take out in the woods are junk food. And the healthiest things I ate were my wraps, and my wraps still were not that healthy. They consisted of usually tuna or salmon packets with tortilla wrap, and then I would mix it up and put like bacon bits on it or pepperoni slices or cheese or something like that. But pretty much, unfortunately, everything else I ate on trail was junk food. Um, And even when I got in towns, I didn't eat that well. I was usually eating burgers or pizza or something. I try to sneak in a salad here or there. But it's really hard when you're on trail trying to eat healthy because you need things that are high calorie, high fat, high carbs to keep your energy up. And you can prepare proper meals at home, but you're not going to get that on trail. And then when you're even in town, you're so deficient in calories on trail because it's almost impossible to eat the amount of calories you need while you're on the trail. So you tend to crave and go for the highest calorie things when you're in town. So unfortunately, I'm not the best person to ask about that. You could eat things like jerkies and dried fruits and stuff like that when you're on trail. That would help. I love dates. I love dates and dried fruits and stuff, but I can't have any with my braces, so I was limited. Otherwise, I would have been definitely packing a lot of that. How are my feet feeling? Well, the plantar fasciitis, I'm not really having many problems with it right now because I'm not really doing any walking. If you did not watch my update video, but you are watching the live, I did have a stress fracture, and apparently I hiked out for about 1,700 miles of the trail, and I'm in a boot right now, unfortunately. Boot. um, so that I'm going to be in for at least the next couple weeks. I go back and I have to get an x-ray done. Um, But it doesn't feel any different than it did when I got home from my hike, unfortunately. So I don't know if it's just going to be slower healing because I hiked for so long on it or what. But my feet are feeling better as far as my heels, though. So progress, a little bit at a time, right? Okay, what is the one piece of gear I would change if I were to do another through hike, and what would I change it to? That is a really good question because I really love all my gear. I did decide to make two changes when I came home, though. One being my tent and the other my sleeping pad. My tent, I love that tent, but I was so disappointed in this version because I've had the Big Agnes Copper Spur um, tent for pretty much since I started backpacking. I've had the older model for a long time, and held up great, held up in torrential downpours. I never got a single drop in my tent of water. I mean, it was the best. I loved it, but eventually the rainfly wore out and the seam sealing got bad and then it started leaking. And I said, you know what, time to get a new model. This thing's really old anyway. So I upgraded to the HV version. There's a lot that's wrong with that tent. I won't even go into every detail, but my biggest complaint was every time there was a hard rain, my tent would flood out through the floor and then splash back through the one side of the tent. And I actually sent that in to the company as well because they want to test the floor material to make sure that the material wasn't defective because the water should have never came up through the floor. So changing out my tent, I am trying out a different tent now. Um, really wasn't going to mention which tent it is yet because I only took it out for one night car camping since I've been home. So I really like it so far, but I haven't really tested it out to see if it's going to be my tent or not. So hopefully I'll be able to test it out better eventually when my foot feels better, and then maybe I can do like a video on it or something. And then my sleeping pad, I was sick of my sleeping pad after having to go through two of them, so I switched to the Big Agnes was I think it's the Rapide SL, I think is what you call it. And I only slept on it the same night I slept with my tent, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. So it's a little bit heavier, um, less of an R value, but it was so comfortable and it was so quiet. It was like the best thing. So I really like it so far. Yes, hiking alone is so peaceful, so peaceful. How am I planning to screen for the higher elevations on the CT? Um, So, for those who know, I'm planning on doing the Colorado Trail next year in July. And so I've been out to Colorado. I did it in 2020. I did the first 5 segments, and I actually got altitude sickness because I went too fast, too far, too fast. And on day 3, oh man, I felt terrible. And so I thought I'll try, going another day or two, see how I feel. And I started going down in elevation at that point, and I still did not feel any better, so I came off trail. But um, I don't really have any way I can train for it. So the best that I'm going to plan to do is go slow. I think I will max out no more than 10 miles per day to start. Um, I'm hoping that'll help. I think I might contact my doctor about prescribing me a med. I can't remember the name of it, but they have a medication meant for stuff like that, altitude sickness that you can take. So I might have that on hand just as a, just in case type of thing. But I think I'm just going to take it really slow. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Ronald. Oh, Dee Dee, you thought I was in my mid-20s. Thank you. Am I still having tuna wraps for lunches? Oh my God, no. I don't want to see another tuna wrap for like another year until I do the Colorado Trail. I go to the grocery store and I walk down that aisle and I see all those tuna packets and I'm like, it's like, keep walking. Hi, Miss Connor. Uh, would there be anything different I would do nutrition wise? Hmm. I don't really know because it's all because of my braces, because I think I would have had a lot of different foods on my hike. I mean, I don't really like nuts, but I do like, versus pistachios and things like that. So I would have liked to have had some jerky, some dried fruits, pistachio nuts, things like that, as far as giving me healthier options for energy on the trail. But I can't do that with my braces. So unfortunately, I don't think I think in Colorado when I do that, luckily that's going to only be roughly a month hike, so it won't be too bad. But I'll probably end up doing the same thing I did on the AT, just eat lots of junk. Uh, do I have a dollar total I spent on trail yet? I did put that in my update video, which I think was the last video I put. I didn't get exact to the dollar cents, but it was just under 5,300 for the entire trip, which averaged out to roughly $1,200 a month or $39 per day. Way too much that I wanted to spend, but once in a lifetime trip and inflation, so okay. Did I prefer sleeping in the tent or the shelter? I preferred my tent hands down. I always like my privacy, and sleeping in my tent makes me feel like I have a little bit of privacy on the trail where you don't have any privacy really. Um, but I did sleep in the shelters a lot on my trip. And that was just out of pure laziness of I was able to get to camp and just roll out my sleeping pad and throw my stuff down and that was it. And then in the morning, just deflate my sleeping pad, roll it up, shove everything in my pack and go. And because I'm such an early riser, that was so nice. Um, I didn't sleep in hardly any shelters, but a few once I got past Virginia. I think I stayed in the last one was the very last shelter in Virginia before you cross into West Virginia. And then I didn't sleep in another one for several states, and then I kind of slept in them periodically just because I don't do bugs very well. But there were some nights I was just lazy and didn't want to set up my tent. Well, thank you, Crescent Libra. What will I do differently in Colorado as far as my food? I'm more mature and experienced. More peanut butter cream pies, guys! I gotta admit, I was so addicted to those on trail. It was terrible. And whoopie pies. every time I found a whoopie pie, I had to buy two because we don't have whoopie pies here where I live. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm probably not gonna do much different on the Colorado Trail, especially since it's only a month long. Did I drink coffee in the morning? No, I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't drink coffee or tea. I just stuck to water. Um, I would put sometimes well, not sometimes. Every morning I put a Propel electrolytes pack in my drink though, so I'd have one of those a day. So that kind of helped flavor my water some. Okay. Have I heard or any possible sightings of Bigfoot? Not Bigfoot, but I've seen some pretty interesting looking people on trail. Okay. And oh, it just found me. It's found out about me today on the podcast. Well, hey, welcome to my channel. Feel free to watch any of my previous videos and enjoy my hike. Uh, I have not added my new tattoo yet. I have my design in mind and it's just sitting on a piece of paper because I don't have the money to do it right now because I'm still paying for the hike itself, but it will happen eventually. And also, my tattoo artist is in Asheville, North Carolina. I don't really want anybody else doing my tattoos anymore ever since I found her. And she did the one on my arm, and I actually drove from Michigan all the way back to Asheville just to have her do it. And I sat there for, what was it? It was like a 14-hour session. It was stupid. So it'll be a while before I get that. I got to get up the money, and then I got to make a trip back to Asheville. Oh, thanks, Derek. Hi, William. Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone who's joined. Have I asked anyone how to relieve my hand pain when I was using my poles? No, I haven't. I think because my hands didn't start hurting until Pennsylvania. So I think the issue was that I was just gripping them too hard. Because once you get further north, the rocks start becoming more of a constant thing. So I was using my poles a lot harder and more. Um, because then my hands started getting really, really bad in New Hampshire in the whites. So I think it was just how hard I was gripping it, and I really don't think there's much you can do for that because I think if you grip anything for 12 hours a day every day for months on end, it's gonna start hurting. But um, favorite places to swim. I really didn't get the opportunity to swim much on the trail. I was disappointed because almost every time I came to a beautiful lake, especially Upper Goose Pond, I was so excited to get there and stay there, and it was like 50 degrees that day. It was so cold. Um, every time I got to a beautiful lake, it was too chilly, and I'm not a cold person. I can't go in the water if it's super cold, and so I only swam in one pond, and that was in the 100 Mile Wilderness, and that was so cold. But it was a really hot day outside, and I said, you know what, this is one of my last opportunities to go swimming, and so I'm just gonna go in, and I did, and it was really nice, and luckily no leeches. So okay, so Dr. Mudd, oh, you're planning through hike next year too? Awesome. Yes, I only took 7 zeros. How many days of food would I carry, and how did I resupply and laundry and shower? So I did a lot more Neros than I took zeros because I hated taking zeros. I rather hike anywhere between like 3 to 9 miles, get into town, and then just kind of get everything done in one day and head back out the next day. So how many days of food? I typically carried around 4 to 5 days of food on average. I preferred carrying more food and stopping in town less than most people did. Um, I liked to go in town usually about every 5 days. Um, I think the longest food carry I did was eight days, and then I didn't end up needing it because that was early on, and I ended up having to get off trail due to my hands, so I had to go in town, so I didn't even need 8 days of food. But I think that's, oh, and then, oh, and through the whites too. I think I carried 5.5 days of food through the whites, which was heavy. So that's basically I did laundry and showers anytime I was staying at a hostel or in a motel. Um, and I stayed usually once a week, whether I was zeroing or not. I would stay just to get all that stuff done, but mostly Nero's. Yeah, I couldn't do a hammock for so many different reasons. I like my tents. Yeah, Big Agnes, I'm impressed. I've never had one of their sleeping pads before. I've always had Thermarest or the foam ones. So this is my first with the BA. So I'm really impressed with it just not from the one night. How about Spam? Oh, it tastes like a salty hot dog. It's not that good. I had Spam a few times in the beginning of my hike, and I'm sorry, this I couldn't do it. It was tuna or salmon was my choice. I could only do Spam once in a blue moon. How many deer have I seen since being off trail? Um, None. I don't think. Before I realized my foot was fractured, I did go out on a couple hikes locally, but I don't think I saw any deer. I saw a bunch of turkeys. No deer. Yeah, as long as I heat it up. Okay. uh, let's see here. Did I find myself doing things differently after the first few hundred miles? Some people say they stopped taking food bags, for example. Mm, So the food bag thing, yeah, if there was cables or a bear box, I definitely used it. If I was by myself early with a couple people and there were appropriate trees to hang from, I hung from them. But I will admit I didn't hang my bear bag a lot because in my opinion, whether you agree with it or not, um, I would rather sleep with my food than hang a crappy bear bag because I saw so many horrible bear hangs where the bag was either where I could grab it from where I was standing or it was hanging right next to the trunk of a tree. And I'm like, you do realize if a bear comes into camp, it 100% is getting your food. And when bears get food, it becomes programmed in them that they know that, hey, I can get this food now, and they'll keep coming back. If you sleep with it, if a bear comes sniffing around your tent, now we're talking black bear country, we're talking on the AT, we're not talking grizzlies here. If a black bear comes into your camp, there's a huge chance that by you yelling and making noise, it's going to take off, especially if you are with your food. But I watched a video. This was last year. I'm pretty sure this was last year. Actually, Ramdino had posted it on his channel where somebody hung a terrible bear bag. All the people were in the shelter yelling at this bear. This bear was in the tree and it was ripping apart the bear bag in the tree and they were yelling at it, trying to get it away. And I'm like, that's not going to work because your bear bag is hanging there where it was easily, where the bear could get to it. The bear knows you're not going to come up to it and approach it. So there was its food. So yeah. Anything else that I did after the first few hundred miles? Um, hmm. I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm trying to think if I did anything different. No, I think I still pretty much did most everything the same except for that. Um, but I also think it was because in Georgia, there, especially in Georgia, with the trees being bare, you were able to see a lot of good trees to hang limbs from. Umbrella worth the money? Absolutely. I got so lucky on my hike though and hardly hiked in rain, so that wasn't much of an issue for me, but I was so grateful every time I had my umbrella. I've been hiking with my umbrella for the past 3 years now, and I won't hike without it. I love that thing. Yeah, I was surprised at how much it costs per day too. What's one new thing that I learned about myself? I like that question. Um, that I'm capable of doing really hard things. Um, I have a lot of self-doubt in my abilities to do things, and doing this hike and loving it and enjoying every moment, and it was so hard and so difficult at some points, and I kept pushing through, and I just, I learned that I'm capable of doing some pretty awesome things if I really put my mind to it. Am I going to be extra careful from now on for preventing sun poisoning? Yes. Oh my gosh. So I have sun gloves now. I actually ordered a new pair, so I have a new pair at home. I have a sun sleeve shirt that I'm probably going to wear next year in Colorado. So it'll be long sleeves, and it also has to where it comes over the hands, so I can prevent my knuckles from getting sunburned again. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be more careful with that. Am I fully back to mundane life? Not quite. Not quite. Um, Still got some extra time. I finished my hike a lot quicker than I thought, so I am enjoying the quiet life for the moment. Ice cream. Oh, I haven't been able to stop with the ice cream yet either. Oh my god, I've been craving it like crazy. What's my re-entry strategy? Oh, gosh, guys, I don't have any tips. Yeah, I don't want to go back to life. I want to go back to the trail, and now with my foot, and so I can't really do much right now. I'm not supposed to be walking around on it a whole lot, so I'm things are a little tough right now mentally being, here, but I'm getting by. What did my evening meals look like? Did I cook cold soak? So in the beginning, when it was cold out, I cooked meals, whether it was ramen, mac and cheese. Rarely did I have backpacking meals, but I did a few times because I had over the last year bought like 6 or 7, and so I had my sister ship them to me periodically when I asked for other things. But usually I was just eating a wrap. I ate wraps for lunch, I ate wraps for dinner, and you get really tired of wraps, which is why I try to spice it up, changing what I put in it sometimes. But um, I like cooking when it's cold outside, but I did not like eating hot foods when it got hot. I was already hot. I didn't want to eat something else hot. So it was pretty much just ready foods. I didn't cold soak. I did that for a few years, and it's not very good. Do I need bear canisters or spray more in Colorado? So no, not really. They recommend the same as hanging or bear canisters and stuff like that in Colorado. I did use an Ursac in 2020 when I was there, but I don't know how big of a problem the bears are on the CT. I've never heard anybody talk about them being an issue out there, but you definitely don't need spray out there. There's no grizzlies on the Colorado Trail, just black bears. Did I have a change from winter gear to summer gear in April? I think it was April. It was when I got to Daleville, Virginia. I switched out my quilt. I went from a 20-degree quilt to a 40-degree quilt. Um, I slowly sent home my other stuff, like my gloves and my winter hat. Actually, I think I sent home my winter hat in Daleville too because I wasn't using it anymore. I was just using my buff and my puffy hoodie. Um, that and I didn't send home my fleece sleep clothes because I usually carry them even in summer on hikes, but I found I wasn't using them at all, so I actually sent them home before I even went into the whites, and I didn't need them. Um, oh, you're gonna binge watch? Awesome. Feel free to make comments. I still read all the comments, even if they're old. And that is where we are supposed to be. Uh, yes, nature. I actually have a quote on my arm that's getting really blurry now because, you know, it fades, but it says, "Within nature lies a cure for humanity." I truly believe that. Have my kitties warmed back up to me yet? Yeah. My kitty girls are back to normal. Actually, it didn't take as long this time because when I was home for my braces adjustment, I was only home for 2 days, and it was the second. Well, I came home that night. The next day, they didn't really care for me, and then the day I was leaving is when they started to be back to normal. This time, it was the very next day, so that made me happy. Okay, they say the challenge will change you. How do you think you've changed? So, I've always been really big into backpacking in nature. Nature's always been my happy place where I feel where everything is the way it's supposed to be. I think a lot of people who do this hike don't feel that way prior to getting on trail. And then when they get on trail, it changes them, it changes their perspective. I've been a minimalist for a long time as well. I don't like material items very much. I don't own a lot. So I know some people talk about when they're done with the trail, they look at all the stuff they own and go, oh my God, I don't need all this stuff. I lived out of a backpack for forever. Um, so that wasn't something that I needed to change either. It's just, I don't really feel it changed me much except for I the only way I think it did is it made me realize, like I mentioned earlier, I can do hard things if I really put my mind to it. And I think that's a great way to have change is, you know, more faith in yourself. What was my base weight on my pack? Um, hmm, I don't know. I because winter and summer were totally different, obviously, and then I was changing gear in and out of my pack, little things, but I think on average, winter, I'm usually somewhere around 15 pounds. I think for summer, depending, it's usually, I think, because I didn't weigh my pack when I switched out my summer gear, but I think maybe I dropped a pound and a half off of that. Um, why did I not like zeros? Do I wish I took more or less in hindsight? Yeah, it was harder to get back on trail. When I took zeros, I felt antsy. I did not like sitting there. I felt like I should be walking, I should be doing something. I felt like I should be making forward progress toward my goal, and being there sitting on my butt, I was, oh, it was just crawling out of my skin. I'm like, I want to be back out there. So I just didn't like it. And then when I got back on trail, I felt totally out of routine. It took me usually the whole day to feel back to normal, back to routine. If I could change it, I wish I would have taken less, honestly. I probably would have if I hadn't sunburned my hands. I wouldn't have taken those two zeros in Newport. And then coming home to my braces, I took two zeros for that. I probably would have only took one around that time because around that time I was due for a zero. It'd been like 30 days since my last one. So I would have definitely taken one. So I think if I didn't have any complications that caused me to take more zeros, I think I probably would have taken five. So I probably would have taken less. Were spiders an issue? I mean, spiders were everywhere. Spiders, especially if you're like me and you get up in the morning, they're always in your face. I had hitchhikers on my backpack, on my trekking poles. I had one in my tent. That freaked me out. That was when I was in the 100-mile wilderness and it was pouring buckets and my whole tent started flooding and my vestibule door collapsed on me and I was trying to open it and fiddle with it and apparently a spider and a mosquito and a gnat all got into my tent all at the same time, so I was trying to kill all of them and get them out of my tent. Um, but I never had an issue with spiders in the shelters, but maybe because I was sleeping. I don't know if they were crawling on me because you could see them hanging up in the beams up up above your face. But um, PA in the house. Hi, Essie or Turtle. Excuse me, Turtle. Oh, that's really cool that you were listening to my videos while you were driving your truck. I think that's awesome. Yes, I'm definitely getting a tattoo for the AT. I am. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but I've got my design all picked out, so it's going to happen. And when it does, I promise I will show you guys. It's going to be a while. Um, did I do any night hiking? Yeah, I did a little bit. It wasn't night hiking as in I hiked into the night. I started hiking in the mornings before the sun came up quite a few times, especially when I first started. Um, I think starting in North Carolina, yeah, I think it was started in North Carolina is when I started hiking in the dark in the mornings. Because I was always up at like 5 and start hiking, and the sun didn't come up to like 7. Um, for a while there, so I did a lot of night hiking in the beginning. Hello, hello to everyone. Hello, strawberry shortcake ice cream. My favorite is cookies and cream. I am such a cookies and cream girl. But strawberry shortcake ice cream is good too. What was the best pizza? You know, I think my favorite pizza was from a gas station in oh shoot, mm, was it oh, it was in Maine. Oh my God. It was when I went to the Maine Roadhouse. Was that Stratton? Or Rangeley? No, that wasn't Rangeley. Was it Rangeley? Stratton? No, I think it was Stratton. It was from a gas station. It's like the only place in town that you can get anything from. And it was so good. Definitely the best pizza I had on trail. Could I ever see myself trained to be a wilderness instructor? Mm, no, no. I enjoy taking people out on hikes that, especially people who've never been out backpacking before. I think it's a lot of fun, but I don't think I'd want to do it professionally. Um, when you start doing, I mean, I know you said wilderness instructor, but um, I don't think I'd want to do that. But backpacking guide sounds like it'd be cool. But then you gotta do everything specific to the way the company asks you to do it. And I saw REI having one when I was in the Smokies, and I mean they had, for instance, they had to teach them how to clean their spoons and utensils using this iodine stuff. And I'm like, really? And I said, I just lick it clean. And they're like, yeah, we do too, but this is what we have to teach them. And so I'm like, yeah. Did my pack hold up? My pack held up so well. I have one little, I mean, it's so tiny. It's probably like maybe a centimeter long, little tiny hole in the bottom of one of my side pockets. That is it. I have a Superior Wilderness Designs pack and love that pack. Best pack ever. So mentioning how my feet are doing, I actually mentioned that in the beginning. Slightly doing better, real quick. Plantar fasciitis is doing better. Stress fracture, not so much. um, are there any suggestions for let me help hikers in general? Um, I, Linda, I'm kind of confused. Do you mean just any tips for hikers? Period. Let me know. I'm still scrolling through comments, but let me know if that's what you mean because I'm not quite sure. Um, oh, you're welcome. I was so happy to be able to share my journey with everybody. I was very hesitant before I left for my hike about doing it. And after I started seeing the comments I was receiving, I was so grateful because you guys meant the world to me. And just every encouraging comment I got just put a smile on my face. And it made me feel good too that I had gotten some comments about future through hikers saying that they were really enjoying it and it was helping them for their hike, and that made me happy. It totally made it all worth it. Oh, thank you, Two Tall Hikes. I love the little emoji guy. He's so cute. It's a ninja pup. Did I keep a written journal? No, I'm not a writer. I don't really like to write. I did keep just a couple of things for stats every single day, but I didn't write anything down. My vlogs were my journal. Oh, I'm glad you guys like the montages. Yeah, you can thank my mom. She's the one who told me to do them because she loved the photos I was sending to her, and she kept saying, "You need to make a montage. You need to make a montage." I said, "I will when I'm done with my hike." uh, put on my head net and show how much the spiders annoyed me. The head net was for the bugs, the mosquitoes, and the gnats, but it was great when I had to put that on in the morning times because the bugs were so bad because then it kept the spider webs off my face. So that was kind of cool. Oh, thank you. Fat Bassets. Yeah, I did plan quite a bit to avoid some of the bad weather as far as getting the shelters before the rain started, leaving earlier because a lot of times it was going to rain in the afternoon, so I would get up earlier and hike as fast as I could to whatever shelter, and so that it worked out for me really well. How much cash did I carry at any given time? So I ended up using cash a lot more on trail than I thought I would. I think I typically carried anywhere between like 1 and 150 on me at any time, just because I was running into quite a bit of stores on trail in these small towns that only accepted cash. Um, Most of them had ATMs, but of course I didn't want to pay the ATM fees if I didn't have to. I would usually get my cash when I went to places like Walmart or that. I would do the cash withdrawal, or Dollar Generals do it as well. So I would stock up on my cash then, so I didn't have to use the ATMs. And then I used it for shuttles and stuff like that. But believe it or not, if you stop at some of these little towns, a lot of them don't. These little like mom and pop shops don't take cards. So I think it's good to have. I would recommend at least having 100 on you at the same time. Let's see here. Did I ever think I'd be doing this live before I started? No. No, I never thought I'd have enough subscribers to do a live because you have to have, I forgot how, I think it's 1,000 subscribers before you can do a live, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, I never thought I'd have as many subscribers as I have. I thought I'd have like 200 at most. So it was pretty cool. This doing live is fun. How long did it take me to get my trail legs? I was at some point in North Carolina when I finally got my trail legs. I started feeling that I was getting stronger, and so it didn't take me too long, but it was pretty nice once I getting them, because then it was like going up these super long climbs when I usually start getting really tired early on. I was able to get like 3/4 of the way up to the climb before I was like, oh my gosh. Hi, BB. I'm doing all right. How are you? Some of the rock scrambling was fierce. Yes. And some had dogs in those sections. Yeah. Ladders. Believe it or not, the dogs were able to run up the ladders. They climbed up those ladders quicker than I did. And the vertical climbs, yeah, I witnessed, especially Gracie. Oh my gosh, Gracie and 100 Mile. I witnessed that dog do some insane rock scrambling. She was more agile than we were. She would be up at the top of this rock scramble looking down at us like, hey, you guys coming anytime soon? I'm waiting up here. It was cool. And then on the same with the way down, she just flew down these hills and these rock scrambles. I wasn't with Tonka and Gracie in the Notch. But I did run into him later, and I asked him how did she do, and he said there were a couple times he did have to pick her up. Um, but when I was with him, I saw him have to pick her up one time, and it was because there was a very, very big drop, and there was a ladder there, and she can't go down the ladders. Obviously, she can go up them. So he ended up lifting her up and picking her up and putting her down. But surprisingly, these dogs do better on them than we do. What did I do for any pain? just dealt with it. I don't really like taking medications. I think I took Excedrin twice for headaches on the trail, and Motrin. Hmm. I think I took Motrin maybe a total like 6 times on trail, and I think that's about it. Yeah, I really didn't do much for pain. I just dealt with it. What did I think about when I walk? What goes through my mind for all those miles every day? Everything, everything went through my mind. A lot of it was food related. I was thinking about what I was going to have for a snack or lunch, or what I was going to have when I got to the next town, where I was going to be able to get my nice next ice cream snack. Food was probably a good 50 to 60% of my thoughts on trail. Um, I would think about my next few days. A lot of my thoughts on trail were about the trail. Um, Planning out my next routes in my head, thinking of how many miles I was going to do. And as you guys know, I would constantly change my plans. Well, that's because I was thinking about it all through the day while I was hiking. I would think, well, if I did this instead, then I could do that instead. And but I did think about other things. I thought about home. I thought about my cats. I thought about what was my next step when I got home. Um, oh gosh, lots and lots of different thoughts. But like I said, I think between food and thinking about what was coming up next on the trail, I think that took up like 80 to 85% of my thoughts on trail every day. Uh, they say you pack your fears. What did I pack? Food. I packed food. Because there were several times on the trail I didn't pack enough snacks, and then the next thing I knew, I was packing twice as much snacks as I needed. So I definitely say food was I overpacked food a lot. I never could figure out how much I actually needed, because when I thought I had it down, I get really hungry several days in a row, and then like eat all my snacks and then run out of it. So then I'd pack more the next time and not even eat half of it. So it's just I never got that down. I gotcha. So I was grateful for my trail angels. I was wondering if there was any suggestions I had for trail angels that might help hikers better, like specific foods, treats. Um, so all the trail angels that I ran into were so amazing, and so many people. Wow, the variety of stuff they have. I mean, they're getting crazy with all the stuff. It was awesome. Um, Tips for trail angels, especially people who've never done it before: trash bags. That is my favorite thing, as a trash bag, just so hikers can dump all their trash. Because that, if you did nothing else but you sat at a trailhead with a trash bag and said, I'm taking your trash, hikers would love you and forever just for getting rid of their trash. Um, Fresh fruit. And that was the one thing I feel we didn't get a lot of. There were a lot of apples and oranges and bananas, things of that sort. Um, I couldn't eat apples because of my braces. Um, Oranges were fine, but a lot of hikers are lazy and we don't want to peel. And so I ate mostly bananas when people had it, but there were a couple times people bought fresh cut up fruits and had little bowls or silverware so we could have fresh fruit like watermelon. I finally got my watermelon. 'Cause hardly anybody had that, and gosh, I heard several people on trails say they were craving watermelon and we didn't get it. So, but pineapple, watermelon, heck, even peeled oranges, because we're lazy people. Um, but no, I mean, just whatever trail angels do is we're happy with, because we didn't have it before they came. My favorite things though were fresh baked goods, fresh baked brownies, things like that. I love that. uh, do I envision any more hiking near on the AT? How do I like the East Coast? So I truly I want to do the AT again. Not as a through hike though. I would love to do the AT state by state. I'd love to go back and do each state as a separate section. Just kind of start over. I've already done Georgia 3 times, so I don't know if I want to do Georgia a fourth time. Probably would, but Virginia actually, I want to do Virginia again so bad as a section hike. I loved Virginia so much. So I really want to do it again. And yeah, I plan on doing tons of hikes more on the East Coast. I love it out this way. I'm not so big on the West. I don't like the barren, no trees, rocks. I'm not a huge fan, but oh, thank you, Robert. My braces unfortunately don't come off for at least another 2 years, so they're going to be on for a while. uh, do I miss the trail? Absolutely. I miss the trail every single day. Oh, and I actually just answered your other question. uh, hello to everybody who just got on. Hello. Oh, of course my feet are getting itchy. They got itchy a week after I came home. Stress fracture and all. Who cares? Skip the boot. Let's just go back out there again. uh, did I meet any other AT YouTube hikers? Absolutely. I met a lot actually. So, and quite a few of them were people I followed before I left for my hike. So it was kind of funny because I thought I'd never run into them. But um, so I met Trekking Along, which is the mom and her 3 or 4 daughters. Oh my gosh, I can't remember how many daughters she has. I got to meet them, so that was really cool. I got to meet Jay Wanders Out because I was off and on ending up at same camp and same hostels and stuff with Pocket Rocket, his girlfriend. And so when Jay came to pick her up in Daleville for trail days, I got to meet him. So that was pretty cool. I got to meet hike on or be hiked on. That's the, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Skogman family. I actually met them. It's mom and dad and her 3 boys. And I met them in the Smoky Mountains when they were doing a short section hike for training because they're doing a flip flop. So I got to meet them there. And then I ran into them again after they started their flip flop in Cheshire, Massachusetts. So that was really cool getting to see them when they were on their actual hike. Um, gosh, I know I met other YouTubers. Oh, I met Pesto. Um, I think her channel is Pesto Paces. So I got to meet her. So there's a lot of YouTubers out there. I got to meet quite a few. Are you gonna be watching my vlogs this winter? Hey, it gives you something to keep you busy in the cold weather when you don't want to go outside. I watch vlogs all winter long. I rewatch hikers. I love them. Aw, thank you very much, Wallace. So, what was my start date? I started the first day of spring. I started March 20th. And if I could start sooner or later, the same time, I'd probably start around the same time. I really liked when I started because I don't know if it was just the year I picked, but I got very lucky with the weather. I hiked in one day with snow on the ground. So I didn't get hit with anything colder than mid 20s at night. Daytime temps, the lows I think were like 30s was the lowest that I had to deal with. I did deal with a lot of cold, hard winds in the beginning. I think for like the first month, it was 20+ mile per hour winds almost every day. That was not fun. But I was very fortunate. I didn't deal with cold for too long. And then I didn't deal with a lot of high heat until I was already in. I had a few really hot days, 2 90-degree days in Virginia, few like 80s sprinkled in here or there through the New England states. But basically, it wasn't until I got toward Maine that I started getting some hot weather. So I loved when I started. I'd probably do it again if I were to start the AT over again. Oh, thank you. Because food. Yes, because food. uh, so I actually have a couple questions from somebody that I didn't see them pop up here. So I want to answer them. Somebody had asked me, what qualities do I feel are important to have to do a solo through hike on the AT? And um, I think the answer to that, what qualities to do it solo, confidence in yourself and your abilities. Um, you have to be comfortable being alone and making all the decisions for yourself when it comes to like when to go into town, when to resupply, how far to go. When you're in a group, um, sometimes it's everybody making compromises about what they want to do. Other times, one person's picking everything and people just follow along. But when you're by yourself, you're doing 100% of the decision making. So being confident in um, what you want to do, as well as the abilities to do it. Um, being determined, because when you're by yourself out there, you yeah, at the end of camp you can rely on other people and tell people, oh, this is what happened today or whatnot, but you have to be able to rely on yourself more than when you're hiking with a big group of people. I think because I'd read it somewhere, I don't remember where, but it was years ago that I had read that people who start alone but end up in a group, or people who start with other hikers, have a higher percentage of finishing rates rather than somebody who starts and would potentially finish by themselves. And I could see it. I could definitely see it. I heard a lot of talk of people on trail talking about that they couldn't understand why I was hiking alone. I got asked that a lot, like, you're hiking alone on purpose? So I think that's an important quality. It's just being comfortable being by yourself too. And then they wanted to know, well, to explain basically what hikers need to do to let people, like family or friends, know when they get to specific locations. I just use my cell phone. I pretty much at least once a day you could get a text out. It may not be when you want to get a text out, but if you're on top of a mountain somewhere, there's a good chance you can get some reception, even if it's just a text message. There'll be times I can't make a phone call, but I can at least shoot out one text. So I would just usually do that. I also checked in on my Gut Hook app, so when I had service, it would pop up on my dad's app that I checked in, so you could see the exact location. So pretty much people just would shoot off text messages. And then there was the question, she wanted to know if phones were critical to hiking the Appalachian Trail. No, there were people out there who were old school with it and barely turned on their cell phones. Does it make it easier to have a cell phone? Oh my gosh, yes. I think back in the day when they didn't have cell phones, I couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine. So much easier because you've got apps like Gut Hook where instead of hoping that the next water source was going to have water available, I could look at the comments. Then, unfortunately, there weren't a whole lot of people updating the comments. I tried to update at least 1 to 3 a day for people behind me, but a lot of people didn't feel that same way. So sometimes I would come to comments that were a year old, so I had no idea what I was coming up to. Um, so it was nice though, because you could look up that and hopefully there was a recent update, and so you know about water. Comments on the trail about, easier ways to get into a town, phone number access, being able to call a hostel and being able to call a shuttle or call ahead for office hours. I mean, having a cell phone was amazing. And let me tell you, there were a few times I went the wrong way, and having Gut Hook app saved me from wandering around trying to figure out where I went off trail. I was able to pull up my map and go, oh, I missed that turn, and I could turn back around. So it's not critical, but it's nice to have. Alrighty, it looks like there are no more questions. Does anybody have any last minute questions? I'm doing this for over an hour. Thank you all for staying. Oh gosh. Yeah, this has been fun. I love doing these lives with you guys. You guys are all awesome. So, looks like no more questions. Any comments? Nothing? No? Okay. Ooh. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. There's a lot of questions on here. Oh, my YouTube stopped posting it all. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. I'll answer these. Leave of absence? Nope, I quit. um, I'm in Michigan. I live in Michigan, and um, unfortunately, but I am planning on doing some more hikes over on the East Coast. It's not right now, but which state had the worst maintained trail? Hmm. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember now. Probably Connecticut. It's Connecticut. Because gosh, there were so many overgrown paths on the trail, and I said, no wonder why people get ticks. So, but there was another state I'm trying to remember that was really overgrown too, and I'm drawing a blank, so I apologize. It was up north though. It was definitely one of the states up north. Yeah, I never got the blues in Virginia. I think people who say Virginia blues are crazy. Oh, thank you. My summit photo. Yeah, I got this picture frame stand thing from, I think the site's called Between the Blazes, and it's really awesome. I love it. Hi, Cabana Boy and Dutch Tape. Hi. They're the best trail angels, you guys. They're awesome. Did I meet or witness any other hikers who had serious trail injuries or had shady encounters on trail? So I didn't meet anybody who had any bad encounters on trail, but one woman that I met, her and her husband coming out of Hanover, I had been hiking um, in the same areas as them on and off for a while, and as we were coming, um, where was it? Out of the Whites. Oh, it was in Maine. It was in Andover, Maine. So I hadn't seen them in a few days or like a week or something like that. And I ran into them at the hostel in Maine. And unfortunately, the woman had broke her humerus bone right where it connects to the shoulder, and she had to have surgery. So I felt so horrible for her that her hike was over in Maine because of that. Um, No, so the guy who has a zip line across the river, I heard that he got rid of it. I didn't see it, and I heard that I think it was like a year or two ago or something that he got rid of it. I don't know if it why. I can't remember, but I think it was due to hikers or something doing stuff they should. I can't remember to be honest. Yeah, spam cooking it. I'm pretty sure spam would taste better if you cook it, but we were eating it raw. Yeah. Oh, hiker lost his whole backpack to a bear on the AT. Now that stinks. I would cry. I'd definitely cry. What did I use to produce my videos? I used KineMaster, that app. It's really great. It's simple for people like me who don't want tons of fancy schmancy things. It's really nice. And you could do fancy stuff on it too if you want. It's just very simple to use. How much time did they take? It depended on how much film I did. I think it took me on average like 20 to 40 minutes per video. And I work on them every night in my tent for the most part so that way they didn't pile up. No, I don't carry a solar charger because those would only work in the winter or early spring before the leaves come on the trees. But I did carry a power bank from Anchor, so I would just have to charge that up when I went into town. Spam is not that tasty. uh, serious? Not even gonna acknowledge that question. All right. Oh, thank you. Have a nice weekend too. Oh, I'm so glad everybody was able to join me on my journey. You guys seriously were part of the best part about me sharing my journey. I loved everybody who commented. You guys are so amazing. Nope, not a school teacher. Definitely not a school teacher. Foothills Trail, actually I am going to be doing the Foothills Trail. That I'm aiming next spring, hopefully. We'll see. Because I plan on going to trail days. So my plans, hopefully, if I can time this right, if I can figure this out right, is to do the Foothills Trail and then go to trail days right afterwards. So we'll see. Yeah, I saw poison ivy a lot. Um, I don't get poison ivy, luckily, so I didn't have any issues with it. But I know, I think it was in Virginia, I started seeing it a lot when spring rolled around. But I really didn't pay too much attention to it. Um, like I said, I'm not allergic to it, so I didn't have to worry about it. But um, there is a lot on trail, and unfortunately, in some of these states, when they start getting really overgrown, it could become a problem. So you might have to be a little bit more cautious. Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys at the gathering. Which, oh, by the way, if you guys don't know, there's the Alda gathering in October. Alda is the Appalachian Long Distance Hikers Association, and every year they put on what's called the Gathering of Hikers, and it's got workshops, events, hikers meeting up, trivia events, all that stuff. And so I am planning to go to that. So hopefully I'll get to see some of you guys there. What part of Pennsylvania did I hate the most? I didn't hate Pennsylvania. I didn't. I actually loved Pennsylvania. It probably is maybe in my top five states. Um, but if I had to pick a part that I didn't like so much, I'd say maybe the last 30 miles because that's when the rocks started getting pretty bad. Am I considering being a trail angel in the future? I'd love to, but I don't live anywhere near the AT, so it would be really hard. It would have to be when I'm already going to be doing a trip somewhere close by, but I would really love to. I carried a stove for the first, um, all the way to Pennsylvania. I got rid of my stove when I came home because I didn't use it for like 2 weeks. Did I meet Pacer and Booty Pusher? I did not. Um, Neither name sounds familiar, and I think I'd remember Booty Pusher. Massachusetts, probably, yeah. Massachusetts was probably one of them that had not so great trail maintenance. Um, you're welcome, Dr. Mudd. How did I like Arcadia in Buchanan, Virginia? Arcadia? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, well, you're welcome, Shirley. I really tried to be very consistent. I think I only missed 2 days of videos. When I was in the Smokies, I didn't have reception, so there was a gap of 2 days before the next day came out. But other than that, I was like so determined to have a video out every single day. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. I was happy to answer their questions. Um, are my hands fully healed? From the sunburn or the gripping issue? Sunburn, yes. Gripping issue, no. I still wake up with my hands in pain in the morning and I still have some trigger finger. But it is getting a little bit better. I'm not in so much pain that I like can't grip anything in the mornings. Like when I was on trail, it was horrendous pain, but it is getting a little bit better, but they're not great still. What food am I still eating now that I ate on trail? Salmon, but I'm not eating the packaged crap anymore. I'm actually cooking it fresh. um, Ice cream. I can't get away from on the ice cream. But other than that, I'm not touching anything I ate on trail. I refuse. Oh, the total for the elephant sanctuary. Um, when I last checked, which was the other day, it's at $3,300 of donations. You guys are the best, absolute best. The donations are still running all the way to the end of this month, end of September. So if you didn't get a chance to get a donation in and you wanted to, it's still open, and the elephants will still be very, very happy to get a donation, even if I'm off trail. So end of September, guys. Oh, Cabana Boy, I would love to do that. I would love to trail angel with you guys so much. You guys have to let me know. I am I am planning on being on Colorado Trail next year in July, but I would love to do that with you guys. Have I considered moving closer to the trail? So I did live in Western North Carolina, right by the trail for a couple years, and I do want to move back there. It will happen one day, but it's timing's not in the cards for me yet. But oh, I love that your dad's still watching my videos. Yeah, I know. I worry about the food I ate on trail too. I won't lie. I was a little concerned. And to be honest with you, I have been struggling since I've come home because the sugar cravings, after 4.5 months of sugar crave or eating so much sugar on trail, it's like I'm going through withdrawal some days. It's terrible. Do I follow other through hikers? Who are my favorites? So this year was hard because I was on trail. So I started following Jay and trekking along. I feel like there was one other person I was following before I left for my hike. Since I came back, I've still been watching Jay's videos, and I've been watching Hike On or Be Hiked On, the Skogman family. I'm still following them. Um, Trying to think. I don't think I've been staying up to date with any other hikers that are on trail right now. Um, Open to try essential oils. Eh, that's not really my thing. Um, in my opinion, train ahead of time or just go, or depends on your current health. Well, I will never say don't train ahead of time. If you can physically get yourself in better shape, even if it's just hiking around the neighbor or walking around the neighborhood, anything's better than nothing. And the better shape you're in, the happier you're going to be when you get on trail. But if you aren't able to make it happen for one reason or another, it's not going to be the end of the world. Just know that you're gonna feel it a lot more when you get on trail to begin with, but don't let that discourage you. It will get better. Trust me, it will get easier. Um, Arcadia. I don't think I went into Arcadia because I don't even know there was an Arcadia. Um, I skipped a lot of towns that other people went through because I carried more food than most people. Ah, thank you, Linda. Near Mill Creek. No, no. Yeah, I saw Jay's last video was up, and I haven't watched it yet. I was saving it for after the live. I'm excited to see them summit. Uh, any tips for how to make a good vlog? Um, well, it's all depends on the viewer because, there's some vloggers out there that I just don't like their style of videoing, and yet they've got tons of subscribers who love it. And then there's others who I watch who I love their style of vlogging, and they hardly have any subscribers. So, tips for vlogging, I guess, just do what makes you happy on your videos, something that you are happy to watch back, because in the end, the videos really should be for you rather than somebody else. So, for me, I enjoyed most was just short walkthrough clips, and then every so often coming back to talk about what was going through my head in my day. Um, And also the little things too. Toward the end, I stopped videoing so many of the little things because they're usually on the ground. And do you know how hard it is to get down on the ground when your knees are hurting? So I didn't do too much of that toward the end. Um, do I plan on doing any more hiking slash trail content in the future? Oh, absolutely. Before I even started vlogging for the AT, I did my hikes. I like doing it for myself. I think at the time I had like 20 subscribers and I was still posting videos because I like having it for me. So yeah, anytime I do a nice trip somewhere, I'll have videos. So the next video you guys are going to see is in October. I have a surprise for you guys in October. So I'm going to the gathering. I mentioned that, but there's a surprise before that, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm really excited. No, I didn't encounter any rattlesnakes at all. At all. And I wanted to. That was one of the two things I wanted to see on trail, and I didn't get to see it. Can I recommend any undersubscribed well, you mean vloggers? So that are on trail this year. I do recommend hike on or be hiked on. So hike on or be hiked on. Their family, like I said, mom and dad and the three kids, and it's really cute watching their videos. I think they do 1 week at a time, so they don't do daily, but they do a week, and they don't have enough subscribers. Then they really should have more. They're really nice and great people. Do I ever wake up thinking I'm still on trail? No, I've woken up wishing I was still on trail, but not thinking I was. I know. I really wish I had had a GoPro through those sections. I had debated early on about taking a GoPro on my hike, and I decided it was just not worth the hassle. But I kind of wish I would have had it through starting from the Whites all the way through Maine. It would have been really nice, but unfortunately not. Yeah, we really could go all night here, and it's, oh my God. Yeah, almost an hour and a half, guys. Ah! So, yeah, if you guys do have any more questions for me, feel free to just submit them in the comments, and I don't mind answering them after. So, um, they did summit, but they're flip-flopping. Hike on or be hiked on. They started at High Point, New Jersey. So they still have a long way to go. So their summit video is gosh, I don't even know. How many miles is that? I think they did like 800 miles or something like that so far, I think. So they've got a lot of videos still coming up. They're heading southbound now. Um, I talked to Joni, the mom, and they are going to be making their way south. So you guys can still have videos to watch from them. Okay, I'll answer one more question from Too Tall. Taste for food change from my current resupply on wait, hold on. Did my taste for food change from your current resupply? Do you mean like did it? I don't know what you mean. If you want to ask me that, like I'm not sure what you mean. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. Yes, it is way past hiker midnight. What time is it? It's almost 8:30. I'd have been in bed by now. I don't know about a live from the gathering, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe like a short little thing or something. Mhm. Yeah. I wish I could have definitely gotten a lot more swims in on the AT. It's just I definitely went through when it was cooler weather and I don't like the cold. But maybe if I can get out and do some section hikes, I'll definitely pick the hotter times of the year so I can definitely get some swimming in. Alrighty. All right, guys. Well, it's been a long one, so I'm gonna get to not going to bed quite yet, but oldest hiker I met, 84 years old. Uh, but I will hopefully do another video soon, but if not, I definitely will have up another video in October from the gathering, so you can definitely watch that. I'm so excited for the surprise before the gathering. So, all right, like I said, any other questions, feel free to ask me in the comments and I'll answer them, when I get a chance to. So, have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you all for joining me. Bye.